Good afternoon, everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from Miter McLean, and I will be guiding you through a fabulous total body HIIT workout today. Please grab one weight. If you're not entirely sure what that one weight should be, grab like a medium weight, but feel free to bring more than one so you have options as needed. We're gonna get started in 3 minutes with a nice quick little warm up, and then we're just gonna do 3 circuits. We've got 7 moves in our circuit. 2 of them are the same. One's just right and then left. There's a lot of lunges today. So you're gonna just do your best. You're gonna modify as needed. I'm gonna offer a couple different options for intensity. Hopefully you're just gonna challenge yourself from the beginning. Push yourself super hard. Make sure you have some water. Feel free to put on some really energizing music. Thank you so much for coming today, making this time for yourself. Let's work out at 12:15. Away. Okay, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Let's see. Okay, it's 12:15. Hey, everybody. Just make sure I'm streaming on the right page real fast. Boom, 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 boom. Timer. And timer. And we will get started in just 1 second. Yes, okay. All's good on my end, y'alls. It's that day of the week when we let Will watch me absolutely die during class. Yay! All right, so I just encourage you, as always, to do the absolute best that you can with the body that you have today. I know that I am not the only person who has been feeling a little bit emotionally drained lately. And sometimes that can really challenge the way that we take care of ourselves. I'm going to talk a lot about the grieving process in tomorrow's little mental health post. But if you are also currently grieving for any reason, way to go for taking this you time. Again, it's okay if maybe you don't feel your ultimate best today. Whatever you can bring is 100% always enough. Feel free to modify with your weights, modify the exercise. Just keep breathing, just keep moving. And Again, thank you for coming. Okay, so we're just gonna start off nice and easy today. Hopefully you have some solid jams going with some relaxing shoulder rolls, just finding those feet on the floor as wide open as you want them to be. Just standing here, starting to find some engagement of your abdominal core. Just working to relax the chest and shoulders a little bit. If you wanna go for some individual sexy shoulder rolls and feel it a little bit more throughout your back, your obliques, go for it. Let's change direction, whatever kind of shoulder rolls you're doing for you today. Breathing and moving, that's where we're at. All right. Next up, we're just gonna warm up those hip flexors a teeny bit since we do have so many lunges coming up today. Just wanna make sure you're feeling open. So go ahead, ground your left foot down to the floor, find some engagement in that left thigh, pull your belly in, and we're gonna take our right leg and just swing it forward and back. Swinging with some control though, so I'm not just, whoa, swinging crazy. Can you find that nice length through your torso and keep that engagement? You're in control. Whatever range of motion feels good for you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's switch to the other side. Having your hands on your hips like I do right now can really help with your balance. We're just warming up, so no need to push yourself too hard right now. Just kicking in control, finding a little bit of engagement in your glute as well. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Plant your left leg down again. We're going to go for some tic-tac side to side. Maybe you want to use your arms and counterbalance in the opposite direction of your foot. Just finding that crossover, starting to get a nice little stretch on the outside, feeling it. Stand in leg 2, 3, 2, 1. Oopsies. Switch to the other side. The more that you focus your eyes on just one spot, keep that stomach sucked in and core engaged. And focus on your breath. The easier the balance is, even for these warm-up moves. 3, 2, 1. All right, stand with your feet about hips width distance apart. Make sure your heels are invisible behind your toes. We're gonna draw that right leg up. If you can get it to 90 degrees, awesome. Open it out nice and wide. Tap down at your furthest range of motion, then lift it up and bring it back in. We'll do 5. You can have your hips with your hands again for balance. 3. Still breathing. 2, 1. Nice, other side. Up and open. It's normal if you hear a little crunching or cracking. I hear a lot of clickety click, click, click happening in my hip joints. 2 more. Ooh, poppity pop, pop, pop. Last one. Awesome. Next up, we're going to go for some good mornings. So go ahead. Good afternoon, I should say. It's after 12. Open your feet up a little bit wider. Take a deep inhale. Bring those arms up overhead. And take a moment to really open up that chest. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Knit your rib cage back together, so no extra overarching from the center. With the weight in your heels, we're just going to exhale. Come down. Feel a stretch on the back of your legs and inhale, lift back up. Really send your hips towards the back of the room. I like to call this one the secret fart. It reminds me of Can't Buy Me Love, which, by the way, I noticed is totally on HBO right now for those of you who have HBO and are bored and are looking for some quality old school stuff to stream. Awesome. Next time we come to the top, we're just going to open our feet a little bit wider, just a teeny bit wider. And then exhale, come on down to a nice flat back. Stretch those arms out. We're going to just tap towards the opposite foot. If you could even reach towards the pinky toe, you can allow your opposite arm to stretch up towards the ceiling. 2 more each side. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades together as your hands palms come back in line. Awesome. Relax and release those hands down to the floor. Heel toe your feet back in closer together. You can walk towards the back of your mat or space because we've got some interns next, I believe. Sure do. Go ahead, walk yourself out into a plank. Once you get there, send your hips up toward the ceiling and just walk back up towards your toes. If you need to take a more generous bend of your knees than I'm taking, that's fine. You can go ahead, straighten yourself out into the plank as you walk all the way down. Thinking about that good plank form as you get your hands, palms under your shoulders. Make sure that your heels are lifting up on top of the balls of your feet. We will do 2 more. Last one. I'm going to ask you to walk yourself out to plank one more time, or just walk your hands forward, whichever is easier for you. We're going to take a moment here in down dog. So this time you really might need to take that generous bend of your knee, walk the dog, get that movement in your hips as much as you need to, maybe even rolling a little from the outside of your big toe to your pinky toe. Think about working to bring that chest closer towards your thighs. Come back to your breath. Awesome, we're gonna bring our chest, our weight forward as we bring that right leg forward for a nice big hip opener. Can you keep that back knee up off of the floor? Think about shifting the weight forward, working to get that right knee about in line with the arch of your foot or on top of the ball of your foot. Go ahead, step your leg back up into down dog. Feel free to walk it out again. And then let's go ahead and step that left leg forward. Just as big of a step as you can. I'll be honest with you, the first time I ever was in a class, set it back to that down dog, and they were like, step your right leg forward. I feel like my right leg came forward like an inch, and then, you like just hop it up, and with time, you get there. Send those hips up, down dog once more, and then left leg forward. Good. Go ahead, send that left leg back. Walk your feet up to your hands or your hands up to your feet. Take a moment, slowly rolling yourself up. All right, we got one more move in our warm-up. Come towards the back of your mat. We're gonna go for a big knee pull. So draw that knee up. Find a nice stretch in your glute, your hamstring. And then we're gonna release our knee and step forward and come into a lunge. Bam! So as you come into the lunge today, I want you to really think about bringing that back knee down, hips still pushing forward, chest on top of hips the best you can. Step it back. Awesome. Left knee lifts up. Find that nice pull. Relax and release shoulders away from your ears. And then release carefully. Step it out. Your step out might not be super graceful. My forward lunge is like bam! My back lunge is a lot smoother. Change. Let's do one more each side. So find that space from your ears. Stretch your elbows towards the floor. Release. Step out into your lunge, or maybe today you're just going for just a little forward step like this. This might be your lunge, and that's totally okay. A bend in the front knee, weight in your heel, and ball of the back foot. Step it back in. Draw that knee up once more. And either a full lunge, or we'll demo this modified lunge again, just stepping forward, finding a bend in your front leg, knee stacked on top of hip, and back knee going down towards the floor. Awesome, step it back together. That's gonna come into play for one of our moves today. Let me show you what's coming up. You go ahead and take either some sort of a lateral side to side step tap, or do some jumping jacks, or boxer shuffle, or just dance. Whatever you need to do to just start to get that heart rate up a teeny little bit. I'm gonna show you what's actually just like 4 or 5 moves a day. I don't know, I can't count. Okay, so first up we have a sumo squat. You can do your sumo squat. Let's go for that goddess style sumo squat. I'm a big fan. If it's uncomfortable for you though to have your toes pointing out, remember you just want your knees to be pointing in the same direction of your toes. So if you're gonna send your hips towards the back of the room a little bit more for a more traditional squat, reaching back with your weight in your heels, your toes are gonna be more forward. And if you're going for that sumo squat, trying to keep everything in line, a little more focus on those inner outer thighs, your toes are gonna be pointing out. Okay, so with your weight, why not do both? We'll have 3 rounds. You're gonna go for your big squat, and as you lift up, raise those arms up to chest height parallel. Make sure as you raise your arms up that your shoulders aren't creeping up towards your ears. That can mean that your weight is a little bit too heavy. And think about really engaging that back at the top as well. So shoulders away from ears, finding space, as opposed to just kind of, you want to be engaged. Find that lifted length. That's move number 1. Move number 2. All right, we'll think about right leg first. So you're going to take the weight in your left hand, and you have 2 different options. You can either step forward into your modified lunge, or bringing that back knee down into a lunge. That's move number 1. If you want to work a little bit harder as you go down, giving yourself an overhead press. Awesome. And then we'll do the same thing with the opposite leg. Move number 3. Couple different options right here. Easiest version of the move is going to be going for a wood chopper. So reaching your fingers down around your knee, around your thigh, and then rotating up towards the top. Eyes follow your weight and your hands working into those obliques. Make sure you keep the weight in your heels if you go for this option instead of coming up onto your toes for your modified mini squat. If you want to work a little bit harder in this one, you can step back into a modified lunge or a lunge with the weight over here right by your thigh. You're then going to lift yourself up, give yourself a knee drive, and turn towards the opposite side. We'll do right side, and then we'll do left side. Challenge yourself the best you can today. Move number 6. But our 4th move of the day is a plank with a weight pass. So starting with the weight by one hand, you're just going to pass it to the other side of your mat and just pass from side to side. That's it, working to keep that body as still as possible, trying to resist the urge to really rock. Our last move of the day is going to be 2 leg lifts with 4 ab bikes. If you need to have your knees bent, that's totally okay. You can do whatever you want with your arms. Remember, the further they are from the center of your body / your butt, when you go for these leg lifts, the harder it is for you to do the legs lift. So feel free to put your thumbs under your butt if you need to after your 2nd leg lift. 1, 2, 3, 4 bicycles, and then legs back up towards the ceiling. If you have your shoulders off of the floor and that belly pulled in tight, you're just going to be working a little bit harder in those leg lifts. Okay, those are all the moves. Are we done yet? Great. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to get my timer. I'm going to get my water. You get yourself set mentally for round number 1. We've got these sumo squats with that front lat raise. Okay. Grab your weight or your can of soup or your bottle of water or whatever you're using today. Already think about keeping that chest nice and open, that rib cage together. Feet nice and wide for your sumo squat, knees in the direction of toes. We start in 3, 2, weight in your heels. Here we go. So really work to try and keep that chest, I'm like doing 2 different squats at the same time. Work to try and keep that chest as lifted as you can. Even as you're coming down into the sumo squat or your goddess squat, weight is in those heels, but coming towards the back of the room, especially if those toes are facing forward. Find that depth. Whoa. 3, 2, 1. Nice work. All right, next up we have that weighted forward lunge. Weight is in the opposite leg that's stepping forward. You can either just keep the weight right here at your hand or go for that overhead press once you step out. 3, 2, 1. So take your time, step out, come on down, really think about still finding that activation in your hips, in your glutes. Weight comes into the front heel, back ball of the foot. And it doesn't matter how fast you're going. Focus more on having that good form. I'd rather you take your time then you'd be rushing through and not even really taking the opportunity to hit the full move. Ask yourself, how's this weight that you're using? Especially if you have, oh, I switched legs. Oops, just one leg coming forward. Take a break. Especially if you have more than one option for weights. Can you use something heavier? You can wait till the next round. Okay, switching to the opposite side. So remember, weight is in the opposite hand of whatever leg is stepping forward. 3, 2, belly tight, shoulders away from ears. Here we go. So either just stepping forward and stepping back. If lunges are not your jam, you might not be able to easily step all the way back if you come into this nice deep forward lunge. And if you find yourself needing to tippity tap, tap, tap your way back, starting somewhere, right? Just make it a goal. A goal in the future, work a little bit on that balance as well to get that return. Let's see how you do with those back lunges that come up. Maybe those are more your jam. Make sure, take a break. When we do these front lunges, after your foot comes down, weight comes into the heel. For these back lunges coming up next, the optional back lunge, or just the wood chopper, weight's gonna come into the ball of the foot. Plant that left leg down. 3, 2, 1. So either stepping back, just a little bit of a twist, lifting up, rotating to the other side. If you want to add this knee drive in, you can, or maybe you're just stepping your feet together and focusing on this upper body rotation. Maybe you're bringing a little more cardio in, whoa, by adding that lunge, especially, oh my God, working to get that back knee down towards the floor. All you can do is your best, you guys. Some days your best might really be crushing it. And some days your best might just be showing up. Take a break, switch to the other side. Halfway through, 10 seconds till we come to this other side. Feel free to start slow. Maybe you're just starting off with your wood chopper twist. Maybe you're coming right into this back step. Or maybe coming right into this lunge. Weights in your front heel. Back ball of the foot. Find that rotation as best that you can. From side to side. Engagement in your upper body as well. So I'm really working to squeeze my shoulder blades in towards each other, activate my upper back as I bring those arms up overhead. 3, 2, 1. Wow. All right, next up is our plank with our weight pass. If you need to modify and be on your knees, do it. It's 40 seconds of work. Challenge yourself. Try and be on your toes if you can. Maybe today's the day. You surprise yourself. 3, 2, 1. Opening those feet up nice and wide can also help to provide that nice stable base. Make sure that you're staying here in the plank so your hips aren't going up towards the ceiling. There's no down dog here. If passing this weight doesn't work for you, can you at least stay in the plank? You have 10 seconds from right here. 3, 2, 1. Yay, roll over onto your back. Last move, then we get a break. 2 leg lifts, 4 bicycle crunches. We start in 10 seconds. Oh my gosh. Here we go. 2 leg lifts. And then 4 crunches. Find that rotation again, just like you did a moment ago in your wood chopper. Think about keeping those elbows nice and wide and finding that wide rotation towards your knees as opposed to elbows staying in tight and losing out on that opportunity to hit those obliques a little bit harder. You made it. Take a break. Wow. That was some round one, you guys. Okay. Grab some water. Focusing on staying hydrated as always. We will take 1 minute from right now, and then we're going to start again. We're just going to bang it out. 2 more sets, and then we're going to move on with our amazing day after a nice little cool down. Wow. Okay, 1 minute from right now, because I just started a timer so that I know what a minute is. Take this time to really focus on slowing your exhale down particularly. I'm just going to keep moving a little bit because I think that'll help me relax a little bit more than complete stillness. Well, if you slow your exhale down more than your inhale, it starts to bring your heart rate down. It's like that whole idea of smiling even when you're not happy, and eventually it makes you happy. All right, 30 more seconds of you time. And then we're gonna come back into those sumo or goddess squats with that lateral front raise again. Remember last time when we asked ourselves if maybe we had a heavier weight and we could have used it? Cool. Now's the time to remind yourself if your answer had been yes. I know my answer was yes. All right, here we go. Set yourself up. This time I am going to go for a goddess squat. So I have my knees turned out nice and wide. Knees are still tracking with my toes. I'm working to bring my hips forward and open up my thighs like I'm like pressed against a wall. A little more inner thigh work as opposed to glutes upper. Okay, here we go. Grab your weights. We start in 3, 2. We started. Nice big squat. And then lift, belly tight, rib cage knit together. Find a spot, focus your eyes, keep that stomach sucked in. Weight is in your heels because we're squatting. Oops. And if your knees are behind your toes, facing forward, you're really focusing on bringing your glutes back in your squat. And if your knees are pointing out towards the side, doing your best to keep those shoulders on top of your hips right now. 3, 2, 1. Nice. All right, next up we have that forward lunge with overhead press. Weights in the opposite hand of whichever leg you're stepping forward. You can choose whichever leg you would like to get started with. 5 seconds till we begin. 4, 3, 2, 1. So maybe you're just stepping forward and stepping back. Maybe you're just stepping forward but adding that overhead press. Maybe you are stepping forward, bringing the weight into your heel, back knee comes down into your lunge. Keep that chin away from your chest, keep that back engaged. Really seating those shoulder blades down your spine, creating that space and length. Make sure as you step forward, you transfer the weight into your front heel. Back knee comes down towards the floor. Think about even bringing that right hip forward, the same we would take a break in yoga for that hip opener. Chest stays lifted. All right, get ready for that other side. If you have some good music on, dance it out right now. I have music just playing in my mind. 3, 2, 1. All right, so remember, you're either just stepping forward and stepping back. Stepping forward and adding that overhead press, but keeping your spine nice and straight. Stepping forward, transferring the weight to your heel, back knee comes down. Even if you need to tippy toe it back in. Maybe your forward lunge is easier on one side than the other. If you find that coming back is a challenge once you're down here, pull your core in. press off of the ball of your foot to come back up. So you transfer the weight into your heel for the squat, or you push off towards the top to come back. Oh, you made it. Awesome. Next up, we have either just that wood chopper rotational action or adding in that back lunge, knee drive if you can. Come back to your breath. Make sure you're still breathing. 3, 2, 1. I'm sure you're still breathing, but what I mean is make sure that you feel like you can be in control of your breath. And if you don't, take something out. For me, the real challenge right now is talking while I do all of this. But maybe you just need to modify a little bit. Go for something easier just to make sure you still feel in control of your breath. So maybe taking out that knee drive, still getting that nice big lunge, or maybe avoiding the lunge, but just going for that knee drive, challenging your balance. Take a break. Switching to the other side. We're doing wood choppers. I thought we were still in that forward lunge. Okay, right. Opposite legs, gonna step back. 3, 2, here we go. So either maybe just step back and then rotate at the top. Maybe step back, lunge. Rotate at the top. Maybe you step back and add that knee drive at the top. Or just teeny little squat weight in your heels. Knee drive option. So many choices for yourself. You can challenge your balance even more by not bringing that left foot down between moves. Rotate that chest at the top and bottom. You made it, okay. Hit the floor. Next up is our plank and weight pass. Warm up those wrists however feels good for you. You got 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Remember, feet nice and wide. Helps with that stable base. Do your best to keep your hands palms underneath of your chest. If you're doing nothing else, you're doing your best to just be in a plank. You are more than halfway there. With challenge comes change. So just keep coming back to the game as much as you can. 3, 2, 1. Awesome, roll over. Leg lifts with ab bikes. And then a break. All right, we start in 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 leg lifts, or maybe you have those knees bent and you're going for a toe tap. Make it a little bit easier. Right into that big rotation, ab bicycles. If you need to for these leg lifts, you can always bring your arms down by your side and then lift them up to, or just keep reaching forward and rotate. Find what works. Eliminate those excuses and recognize when you're just creating excuses, it's supposed to be hard. Take a break. Take a break. Feel free to get any stretches that feel good for you during this break. I got some good news. We've only got 1 round left, you guys. There's so much sweat on my glasses right now. Breathe it out. 1 minute to yourself. Oh, wow, this feels good. 1 minute to yourself from right now. Total body workout. Not even a 7-minute circuit, you guys. I mean, it takes 7 minutes. We're not working for those full 7 minutes, but we're feeling worked, right? All right, 30 more seconds of you time. If you didn't grab any water, think about grabbing some water still. Staying on top of that hydration need before you even feel thirsty. Okay, who's with me? We got one last round, you guys. Decide how you are going to separate your feet and what kind of squat you're doing today. Which squat's easier? Do the other one. For me, that means I'm going to go for the more traditional sumo squat instead of the goddess squat. All right, 40 seconds of work starts in 3, 2, 1. Weight in those heels for your squat. Butt goes back. Lift yourself up. Are you still knitting that rib cage together? Keeping that chest. Intention of chest lifted. I know your belly might come towards your thighs as you squat. But you're working to keep that chest from coming all the way down towards the floor as well. You can do it. 10 more seconds. Weight stays in those heels. 3, 2, yay! All right, next up, those forward lunges with the optional overhead press. This is my most challenging move for me in today's workout. Tell me what yours was. I would love to hear it. And go. Remember, doing as much or as little as feels right for you today. You know what the modifications are. If you need any help and you're here live, you can reach out in the chat. We're halfway through. Halfway through, last time on this leg. Make sure you're transferring the weight to that front heel. It's okay if even during the actual lunge, maybe you feel your front toes lift up a teeny bit because the weight's in your heel. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and switch to the other side. Listening to that song in my head, that power song that just keeps you going. 3, 2, 1. Nice work. So hopefully you remembered too, because I know I forgot to say it, that if you keep your hand on your waist during these lunges, that's going to help with your balance too. We talked about it a little in the beginning of class. Oh, I'm feeling tired. Feeling tired, you guys. I'm feeling sad. And I will admit I have not been taking the best care of myself. My sleep's been off. My eating has been off. And that means my energy's off. But I'm just taking the modification I need to keep going. Take a break. Because I know that this exercise and movement is going to make me feel so much better. Okay, coming into those wood choppers with the back lunge. It's okay to share your feelings, you guys. 3, 2, here we go. So back lunge, twist towards the leg that's in the back, and then either feet together and then knee drive, or work to not even place that back foot back down on the floor. Find that big lift, big overhead lift and twist, but you're controlling the weight, so you're not letting it just drop down. You're slowing it down on the way down and you're controlling on the way up. 10 seconds left. Last time this side. Don't give up on yourself. Find your breath, find your focus, and take a break. Last 3 moves. Other leg's gonna step back, twist to the opposite side. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay. Now I'm ready. Find that extra little rotation and twist at the top using your breath. That extra little inhale. Can you rotate a little bit more here? At the very end in our very last set, challenging that balance as well. 5 more seconds. Then we get to plank. Yes. Good work. Come on down to the floor. Shake it out, stretch it out, prepare yourself for plank time, which starts in 5 seconds. 3, 2, we're in it. Uncle Buck, I hear you crying. What are you crying about now? Are you feeling bad that I'm doing today's workout on the anti-slip rug mat because somebody pooped all over the rug yesterday? I'm not loving it that much. I'll tell you what, Uncle Buck, it's a little itchy. You're more than halfway through. Sweat it out, y'all. 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, you made it. Roll over onto your back. Ankle buddy. Last move. Leg lifts. Runner's crunch. Set yourself up right now. Eliminate the excuse that, oh, I wasn't ready. And begin. 2 leg lifts. And then 4 bicycle crunches. So remember, just like with that wood chopper, you are controlling those legs on the way down and up. It's not just about swinging those legs. It's about finding that engagement, keeping those elbows wide. Light grip of the fingertips against the back of the head. No pressure. If that's where you have your fingertips. Oh my gosh, we made it! Yay! Let's hang out here on the floor for a sec. Take a moment, just draw those knees in towards your chest. Oh my God, this rug runner like really cut my feet up. But you know what? I still worked out. I still feel so good. Jen said something so awesome in her class this morning. For those of you who were not at the 7 a.m. Rise and Shine Yoga. But she asked us to scan our body and notice how it felt. Did anything feel great? Did anything feel noticeable because you worked out kind of hard? And can you change your thought set of being like, oh, this hurts, to, oh man, I did good? Because we all did good just now. All right, go ahead, release those knees down to the floor. Take a moment, just windshield wipe your feet right and left. Oh, so sweaty. All right, let's go ahead and just allow our knees to fall down to whichever side feels good for you. Maybe you can get both knees all the way down towards the floor. Maybe your hips are tight and one knee is pointing a little up towards the ceiling. That's okay. Think about stretching your knees down towards the end of your mat, just to feel a little bit more engagement within that hip flexor, especially of the back leg. You might feel it a little in your front leg too. For 3, 2, 1. Back to that awesome windshield wiping of your feet. And then let's go ahead and we're going to roll over towards the other side, dropping those knees down. I'm pressing the inner edge of my back foot into the floor and really thinking about stretching my knee towards the end of the mat. Makes a much bigger stretch on the outside of the hip and the hip flexor as well. Awesome. Once more, go ahead, windshield wipe your feet. Isn't this so great? We're just like laying on our backs and we're cooling down. Go ahead, bring the soles of those feet together for some reclined bound angle. You might even have to press into the backs of your feet and lift your butt up for a second, or press into your elbows to lift your upper body up to get that nice stretch, focusing this time on those inner thighs. If you want a nice little stretch in your arms, you can bring your arms up overhead. Maybe go for some goal post hands. Nice. Go ahead, bring those knees together, roll over onto your side. We're going to come up into tabletop. Give yourself some nice cat-cow here. Maybe shake your hips a little. Just finding where your body still feels like it really needs a stretch and giving yourself the opportunity to get into that area. We're going to do a nice stretch of the shoulders next. So go ahead, send your hips back towards your heels. Walk those hands, palms forward as much as feels comfortable for you. Tent your fingers today. So a little cupping of your hands, pressing the pads of your fingers into the floor to feel more of a stretch in your shoulders. If that doesn't feel good, you can relax your hands to the floor. If that's still too much, bending at your elbows. Using your exhale to also gently send your hips closer to your heels. Awesome. Let's go ahead, pull ourselves through. Come on up to some up dog, or kind of like a seal pose, pressing that pubic mound down towards the floor, pressing your hands, palms into the floor, opening up that chest, bringing those shoulder blades closer. Eyes, nose, chin up to the ceiling. Then go ahead, tuck your toes under, send your hips up towards the ceiling, and just walk your feet in. And walk your hands to your feet. Take that generous bend and dangle. Oh my gosh, I literally caught my foot on my feet, Kermit. Uncle Buck. As generous of a bend of your knees as you want. Oh, it doesn't look bueno. Okay, slowly, gently roll yourself up. I know someone who'll be wearing socks till they get a new rug. Relax and release those shoulders away from your ears at the top. Taking a moment, just standing tall and proud in your mountain pose. Inhale your arms up overhead. Find that big stretch. Exhale, relax and release those arms down by your side. Take a moment, interlace your fingers, stretch those fingers down towards the floor, maybe even a gentle tucking of your chin towards your chest. One last stretch in the upper back and shoulders. And change, slowly, gently release, interlace your fingers in front of you, turn your hands, palms forward. Find one last bit of rounding, grounding your feet into the floor as well. Inhale those arms up overhead. And exhale, take whatever stretch feels right for you. Bringing those arms down. Go ahead, give yourself a big hug. Yay! Thank yourself for coming and making this time to work out today. Always feels so good to just get some movement to help release those endorphins and all the good feelings. If you guys have any questions or concerns about anything that we said or did today, as always, please reach out. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.